Y'all need to be bloody thankful today. We actually have some good news for once. For once in this country, we finally have some good news. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, Mamdani has taken the cake in the New York City primaries against Cuomo. Former Governor Cuomo, right? I want to go to the Holy Land. I support Israel. What? I want to visit Israel. What are you talking about, bro? You're running for New York City mayor. And there was that same moment which actually won Mamdani the race, in my opinion. I think you could see the actual moment that people knew. Apparently not everybody, because still 36.4% of people somehow managed to vote for this dude. I think that's because of the bad rep that they're giving Mamdani right now. Tarnishing his name, calling him a socialist, when in actuality he is not. But I think it's very clear, ladies and gentlemen, what happened here was that Mamdani took the cake, and took the cake by a good margin as the underdog, I might add, simply because every other candidate said that they would go visit Israel, whereas this dude, Mamdani, was like, wait a minute, you know what? I think I'd actually probably stay in New York with the boroughs and help out the people of New York City and probably not visit a foreign genocidal regime. He also said that he would actually have Netanyahu arrested in New York City if he came to visit, which I think is awesome because Netanyahu, quite frankly, is a war criminal. And, that's just the way that it is, right? We shouldn't invite war criminals into the country, even though we have some of our own that we're harboring as politicians who are bombing foreign countries all the time. We all know who they are. But ladies and gentlemen, how amazing is this, right? We actually have a candidate here who's relatively progressive. People have been calling him a socialist, wrongly so, I might add. You can look at his plan for grocery stores, for instance, right? He's saying, okay, well, we subsidize all these private corporations and their grocery stores. How about we take that funds, right, and we start our own grocery chain? That way we can provide food at cost for people. He's not banning private corporations. He's not in favor of doing that. There's no evidence at all he's a socialist. He just simply wants some more social programs for the people because people can't afford to live anymore in this economy, right? And he wants to see that changed. And so he's really kind of like a Bernie Sanders type character. I mean, I don't think he calls himself a socialist, but even if he did, right, he's not, right? He's a capitalist. And in fact, I would argue, and I think a lot of people would argue this, right? It would be more of a mixed economy, but to help the average people out, right? Because nobody's a pure socialist or a capitalist. I mean, some people are, right? It's like, but in this country, the vast majority of people support a mixed economy. And if you really look at the numbers there, as a percent of GDP, I mean, we spend so much money on our governmental programs, right? It's like there's a large chunk of the country that is socialist. Think of your libraries, think of your schools, think of your roads, and it's like you don't see people complaining, right? So sometimes it's a great thing, right? So it shouldn't necessarily even be a smear term, as much as it is, right? But it comes, say anything you don't like as a socialist. So yeah, people can't even define what socialism actually is, which is just hilarious to me, right? I remember being in university years ago, and remember learning the difference between like socialism and like communism from like a definitional standpoint, and like nobody ever even uses them from based on the true definitions, right? It's like, so if you look at like communism, that would be like ownership by the people, right? And then if you look at like socialism, that would be like ownership through the government, right? So the government controls the means of production, whereas the people would control it under communism, and then private entities would control it under capitalism, right? So it would just be individuals can buy and sell things for profit and make money. So pretty interesting there. And obviously these definitions here, like they can change and go back and forth, but I find it hilarious that they're trying to smear him. But you know what? At the end of the day, he won, ladies and gentlemen. So we're actually gonna have a decent candidate, most likely winning this race here. I can't imagine that. I think it's Sliwa he's running against here. Curtis Sliwa ran unopposed in the Republican primary. So I imagine he's gonna wipe the floor with him. I can't imagine that New York's gonna really elect a Republican mayor right now. So Mamdani is gonna be the favorite to win. I probably give this dude a 70-80% chance, probably higher than that even. So that's pretty good, and we should be very, very, very thankful, very, very excited, and hopefully we can see some progressive change in the city. And we should thank our lucky stars for that one debate. Oh my, we should thank our lucky stars for that, right? All the other candidates embarrassed themselves so badly that's the only reason that Mamdani even won, right? I mean, like how? Oh my God, like the fact that you would say you want to visit a foreign genocidal regime as opposed to staying in New York, or at least say something that makes sense. Like, I don't know, Canada. Like, why are we going to say Israel of all places, dude? It's crazy. So shout out to Mamdani for actually wanting to support the people of New York, running as New York mayor, and congratulations on his win. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously always do your own research, try to make up your own mind, stay informed on decisions, right? Speak for peace and the prosperity of our nation and the nations of others. And, spread some joy And I want to hear your opinions in the comments. Try to get us to 111 subscribers. We're at 110 right now. Let's try to hit 111, and that'd be awesome. And thank you very much for watching.